The Substitute 3, Storage B. The school door slammed shut behind me, the sound echoing like a hammer blow down the empty halls. A weird, end-of-fall chill hung in the air, humid but suffocating, like it hadn't moved in decades. I started walking toward room 107, but something was wrong. The corridors felt off. Every few doors, the pattern would repeat: principal's office, janitor's closet, trophy case, then the same loop all over again. My own footsteps sounded distant, like they were being swallowed by the silence. I clutched the note Mr. Marrow had given me. Look under 1971, like it was the only real thing in this place. The silence was the worst part. Past the cafeteria, there was nothing. No hum from the vents, no distant traffic, just nothing. The lights overhead flickered in a slow, relentless rhythm. At the end of the oldest hallway, a door I'd never seen before stood waiting. The paint was faded, the metal handle icy cold. A warped plastic sign above it read, "Storage B." It opened without a sound. Inside was just darkness. I pulled out my phone, but the screen just flickered with a useless blue glow and died. The battery instantly drained. But there was another light, faint and golden, like a single desk lamp burning far, far away. I stepped forward onto concrete stairs that spiraled down, deeper than the school's foundation should have ever gone. The walls changed as I descended. Cinder block turned to soot-stained brick, then to charred wooden beams, black as driftwood. My breath fogged in the cold air. At the bottom of the stairs, the lamp sat on an ancient desk. It was buried under stacks of yellowed files. Some were marked Federal Disaster Response. Others were blank except for a date, October 20th, 1971. And standing there in the dim light was Mr. Marrow. He looked exactly the same as the first day I saw him. Gray tie, steady eyes, standing like a man about to apologize for something terrible. He just nodded once. "You made it," he said, his voice calm. "It doesn't work on everyone." My own voice came out as a brittle whisper. "What happened to this place?" He gestured to the piles of files. "What always happens. Towns die and the world forgets they were ever alive. Only the ones who care or the ones who can't let go come back or get stuck." A cold dread washed over me. "Am I dead?" I asked. Mr. Marrow gave a bleak, patient smile. "Not exactly," he said. "You're remembering." He slid a thick file across the desk toward me. At first, the words were a blur, but then the story rose from the page. Flames crawling across the gym floor, children huddled in classrooms, an evacuation order that was never given. And then, the cover-up. A federal team sent to contain an anomaly, to rewrite history, to erase what happened here. "Most people in plain dealing don't even know their echoes," Marrow said gently. "They go to work, mow their lawns, wait for football season, and time just folds, again and again." I read the last page. Population deceased, never reincorporated. I wanted to run, to scramble back up those stairs, but when I turned, there was just a blank wall. "Why me?" I asked, my voice shaking. "Why do I remember?" Marrow folded his hands. "Because you left space for it. When you turned in that blank page, when you started to question what everyone else fills up with noise, the cracks opened, and the truth slipped through." Tears blurred my vision. "Are you—" He nodded, his form already starting to fade at the edges. "A memory, or less. I tried to forget too, but someone has to remember, or everyone is lost forever in the loop." The lights flickered one last time, and in that flash I saw it all. The school was built on rot and ash, a prison where history rewrote itself. "You can wake up, Hannah," he pleaded, his voice fading. "You don't have to stay." "How?" I cried. "Tell someone. Write it down. Break the loop." The last thing I saw was his hand, almost transparent, offering me a battered attendance book. Then the world shuddered. Days later, I was still staring at that blank page, my heart pounding. Mr. Marrow had shown me that leaving it blank was its own kind of answer, a way to keep the real story from being erased. I moved through the next few days in a daze. The familiar streets felt like movie sets, and the faces at school seemed to blur at the edges. I could feel Tanner watching me with concern. "We're just tired," he'd say. "Senior year gets weird." But his words felt hollow. Every night, the roads out of town would reroute on my phone's map. No matter where I tried to go, I always ended up back home. My reflection in the mirror would linger for a split second too long before blinking. My own handwriting in my notebook started fading faster than it should, turning into unreadable scribbles. And sometimes, in the quiet moments between classes, I could swear I heard a low hum coming from beneath the school floors. It wasn't a machine. It was voices. Hundreds of them, layered together, all repeating the same phrase, urging me not to forget. Then one morning, I found an old, yellowed envelope in my locker. The paper felt like it was 50 years old. Inside, a single sentence was written. "The story isn't finished unless someone remembers." On impulse, I took my notebook and that blank page out to the front steps of the school, the same spot where Marrow had vanished. Tanner came and sat with me as the sun began to rise, casting long shadows. An unnatural silence hung over the highway. I opened my notebook. I wasn't ready to write the whole truth, not yet. But I started. I wrote the town's name and the date. For now, that was all I could do. Just mark the place where the story could begin again. Behind us, the school bells rang. In that quiet moment before the halls filled with students, I felt it with a terrifying certainty. Plain dealing was about to change. All it took was one person who chose not to forget. And from somewhere deep beneath the school, in that echoing hollow, a single voice broke away from the chorus and whispered, "Closer than you think." Thanks so much for coming along on this chilling journey with me. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the shadows. I'd love to hear your theories in the comments below. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.